Hello, and welcome to Washington, D.C. There's a special kind of energy you feel the moment you arrive here. It's a feeling that's part excitement, part reverence. Maybe you flew in and saw the city's grand layout from above, a beautiful puzzle of monuments and green spaces. Or perhaps you arrived by train at Union Station, stepping out into a place where history feels alive and breathing all around you. This city isn't just a capital, it's a living museum, a symbol of a nation's journey. Every street corner, every marble column has a story to tell. And today, we're going to listen to some of the very best ones together. Here we are, standing on the National Mall. It's often called America's front yard, and you can see why. This magnificent stretch of green lawn runs for over 2 miles, connecting some of the most important landmarks in the country. To one side, you have the U.S. Capitol building, its iconic dome a symbol of democracy. To the other, the Lincoln Memorial stands in stately tribute. This isn't just a park for picnics and flying kites, though you will certainly see plenty of that happening on a sunny day. It is a space for national dialogue, a place where Americans have gathered for generations to exercise their right to assemble and make their voices heard. This was the site of the 1963 March on Washington, where Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. delivered his powerful "I Have a Dream" speech. Our walk along the mall now brings us to its western end and to one of the most moving sights in all of Washington, the Lincoln Memorial. As you approach, you climb a grand set of marble stairs, and each step builds the anticipation. When you finally reach the top and enter the chamber, you are greeted by an incredible sight. There, seated in solemn contemplation, is a 19-foot-tall statue of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. The statue is carved from 28 blocks of white Georgia marble and seems to radiate a sense of strength, wisdom, and compassion. It's a powerful experience to stand in his presence. The memorial is designed like a classical Greek temple, with 36 Doric columns representing the 36 states in the Union at the time of Lincoln's death. Inside, flanking the statue, are 2 of Lincoln's most famous speeches carved into the walls, the Gettysburg Address and his second inaugural address. It was on these very steps, looking out over the reflecting pool, that Martin Luther King Jr. stood in 1963. As we leave the Lincoln Memorial, we find ourselves standing at the edge of the iconic Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool. This long, shallow expanse of water is one of the most photographed spots in D.C., and for good reason. It acts as a stunning mirror, capturing the magnificent reflection of the Washington Monument at its eastern end and the Lincoln Memorial at its western end. Walking along its length gives you a chance to contemplate the connection between these 2 great presidents and the monuments built in their honor. The view is simply breathtaking, a perfect symmetry of architecture and nature. Can you imagine what this scene looked like during the March on Washington? Thousands of people lined the edges of this pool, some even dipping their feet in the water to cool off on that hot August day. In 2012, a new sustainable system was installed that now draws water directly from the nearby tidal basin. This new system keeps the water cleaner and is much better for the environment. Now, let's turn our attention to the magnificent structure that has been dominating the skyline throughout our tour, the Washington Monument. It is the tallest obelisk in the world, standing at just over 555 feet tall. You can see it from almost anywhere in the city, a constant and reassuring presence. If you look closely about a quarter of the way up the monument, you can actually see a slight change in the color of the marble. This marks the point where construction stopped. Surrounding the base of the monument are 50 American flags, one for each state, which fly 24 hours a day by presidential proclamation. For those who want a truly unforgettable experience, you can take an elevator to the observation deck at the very top. From up there, you get a 360-degree panorama of the entire city. You can trace the path we've just walked along the National Mall. See the White House to the north, the Capitol to the east, and the Jefferson Memorial across the tidal basin to the south. At the far eastern end of the National Mall, we arrive at the majestic United States Capitol building. With its massive, brilliant white dome, it is honestly one of the most recognizable symbols of democracy in the world. This is the home of the United States Congress, where senators and representatives meet to debate issues, draft laws, and shape the future of the nation. The building itself is a masterpiece of neoclassical architecture, designed to echo the ideals of ancient Greece and Rome, where the concepts of democracy first took root. Perched atop the dome is the Statue of Freedom, a 19-foot-tall bronze figure of a woman wearing a helmet and holding a sheathed sword and a laurel wreath. It was placed there in 1863 during the Civil War, a powerful symbol of the nation's enduring fight for freedom, even in its darkest hour. The Rotunda, the vast circular room beneath the dome, is especially awe-inspiring. Its walls are lined with enormous paintings depicting significant moments in American history, and its canopy features a breathtaking fresco called The Apotheosis of Washington, which shows George Washington rising to the heavens. Just a short walk north of the National Mall along Pennsylvania Avenue, we find ourselves at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, the White House. This is, of course, the official residence and workplace of the President of the United States. It's a place that is both a home for the First Family and a powerful symbol of the American presidency. Every United States president since John Adams has lived and worked here. Imagine the history that has unfolded within these walls. Decisions that have changed the world, quiet family moments, and grand state dinners hosting leaders from across the globe. It is truly one of the most famous and important addresses in the world. While it is a secure federal building, the White House is also known as the People's House, and it is possible for the public to visit. If you are able to go on a tour, you will get to see some of the famous rooms on the state floor, like the elegant East Room, the formal Green Room, the classic Blue Room, and the historical Red Room. One of the most incredible things about Washington, D.C. is the Smithsonian Institution, a collection of 19 museums, galleries, gardens, and a zoo. It is the largest museum, education, and research complex in the world, and what makes it truly special is that admission to all of them is completely free. You can see the original Star-Spangled Banner and Dorothy's ruby slippers at the National Museum of American History. You can marvel at the Hope Diamond and a giant T-Rex skeleton at the National Museum of Natural History. A must-visit for everyone is the National Air and Space Museum. It is one of the most popular museums in the world, and it's easy to see why. Inside you can see the 1903 Wright Flyer, the first successful airplane, the Spirit of St. Louis, which Charles Lindbergh flew across the Atlantic, and the Apollo 11 command module, which carried the first astronauts to the moon. You can even touch a real moon rock. As our whirlwind 10-minute tour comes to an end, I hope you feel that special energy I mentioned when we first arrived. Washington, D.C. is so much more than a collection of marble buildings and monuments. It is a city of stories. It's the story of a nation's birth, its struggles, its triumphs, and its ongoing journey to live up to its founding ideals. Every landmark we have visited today, the Lincoln Memorial, the Washington Monument, the Capitol, is a chapter in that story. And by walking these streets, you become a part of that narrative, a witness to the history that is still being made every single day. What I love most about Washington, D.C. is that it belongs to everyone. It doesn't matter where you come from, what you believe, or who you are. This is your capital city. The free access to the monuments and the Smithsonian museums reinforces this beautiful idea. This is a place designed for citizens to engage with their history and their government. The memories you make here will stay with you. You'll remember the feeling of awe standing beneath the towering figure of Abraham Lincoln. You'll recall the breathtaking view from the top of the Washington Monument, seeing the city spread out before you like a map. We are all part of this grand, complicated, and beautiful experiment in democracy, and a visit here is a powerful reminder of that shared identity. So, as you leave, I encourage you to carry the spirit of DC with you. Carry the curiosity, the sense of civic pride, and the inspiration to be an active participant in the story of your own community. Thank you for joining me on this tour. Come back soon.